stay in touch with your people. Stay in touch with your friends, your family, your past clients, everybody in your sphere. Connect with business owners. Do everything you can to make sure people understand what's really happening in the market. So when they run into that next agent, they don't have to ask.
My name is Kevin McIntosh, and this is The Closing Table, where we talk to experts about their experience in real estate all across the country. Let's go. Welcome to The Closing Table, and today we have a special guest joining us. It is Mr. Thom Tillier. How you doing, Mr. Thom?
I am awesome, Kevin. How are you?
Hey, I'm great, sir. I'm great. Looking forward to having a great conversation with you and learn a few things about you. Also, done some research on you, and we want to go over some things that I saw. I see, first and foremost, have to acknowledge the fact that I see that you spent some time in the military, sir. Is that correct?
I did.
Absolutely. So we want to start off by saying thank you for your service, first and foremost. What branch of the military did you serve in?
I was in the Navy.
Nice.
I was in the Navy 92 to 96. I was on a guided missile cruiser, and I was always at sea. And it was a great experience.
Okay. So what mentality would you say you brought from the military into your current career, and how does it benefit you?
Wow. Great question. In my current career or in life or in anything, I really think that, I have 5 kids, and we often say, my wife and I are constantly talking about it. And we say, I really wish everybody was required to go in the military for a couple of years, because I wasn't prepared for life when I got out of high school.
Gotcha.
I wasn't prepared. And so once in the military, it taught you disciplines, the importance of being punctual, the importance of being tidy, organized, how to pack a whole lot of stuff in a very small area because you're on a boat, right? There's a lot of things that the military taught me I can't even wrap my arms around. But as far as business goes, it's probably very valuable, because all of that comes forward when I'm working with clients.
That makes sense. I like what you said in regards to feeling like everybody should have some type of military experience. I've always been on the fence about that, but as I get older, I'm starting to realize the importance of what they teach you in the military. I mean, just tactical things, discipline, habits, utilizing resources, being a minimalist, all of that is like, that goes far beyond just military. Like, that's life, that's professionalism, entrepreneurship, everything. So I like that you touched on that and you do apply it to your life in that type of way. So let's talk about your expansion, your traveling. You're in both Michigan and in Florida. Are you currently serving in both markets? Is that correct?
Yes, we are. So we have a
Okay.
team. We have a team in Michigan. So I have a few people on my team in Michigan that are handling our Michigan clients.
Okay.
And I'm here. So we don't have a team built here. So we do have both places. I'm not very operational in Michigan unless they need my help.
Gotcha.
But for my VIPs, I would fly in, take care of people for sure. It's a 2-hour flight, pretty cheap, pretty quick, pretty easy to get in and out. I get to see a lot of great people, when I'm there. So it would be a benefit, but I haven't been there lately.
Got you. So what specific market in Michigan are you serving? And then what specific market in Florida are you in?
So Michigan, it's really Oakland County. So
Okay.
some Oakland and Macomb, but primarily Oakland County.
Gotcha.
And in Florida, it's very interesting. We've already done deals in 5 counties in Florida because we're just getting our feet on the ground. So we're really going wherever someone needs us. So we're everywhere from Sarasota to north of Tampa, all the way over to Orlando, Lakeland. We've covered that whole broad scope, and that's not ideal for us. So Tampa area is ideally where we want to be.
Got you. So are you looking to build a Florida team similar to how you built your Michigan team?
Yes, because some of the referrals we're getting, we just talked about this over the weekend, because some of the referrals we're getting, like in Sarasota or Orlando, like, we know what we bring to the table, but we don't have representation. So I jumped in the car and I go, I'll just take care of what
There
we
you
got to
go.
take care of. But these referrals count on us to treat their clients very well. And so I kind of go where I need to go to take care of my referrals because I respect the referral source so much.
Got to do what you got to do to get the business taken
Got to
care
do
of.
it.
I
Got
completely
to do it.
understand that. Let's talk about the difference in housing and structures between Michigan and Florida. Now, one thing that I believe I know is the major difference is Michigan homes have like basements. Florida homes are not too common with having basements. Why is that? Well, I feel like I know why, but can you explain why there's a big difference there? And then are there any other like major differences in home structures or real estates between the two markets?
Sure. So Michigan homes have basements because we can, but because Florida is so low in sea level,
Mm-hmm.
right, that you just can't
Mm-hmm.
dig,
Right,
right?
right, right.
The major difference, though, which I find fantastic, all the homes built after a certain year, I think it's '08, I'd have to double check that though, is because of the Miami-Dade Hurricane Act, all the homes are
Mm.
built as the first floor at least is cinder block,
Oh,
right? So that's major if you think about it. The
right,
second floor is not cinder block, but it's so protected. It's just like the Three Little Pigs, right?
right.
You know, you can huff and puff and blow my house down, right? But you got cinder block or you got stick built. They're very well built homes. There are other differences though because we have drywall in Michigan, so it's easier to patch drywall and to kind of like sand it down and do what you got to do. But here, it's called knockdowns or textured walls, right? So all of these walls are
Mm.
textured, and so it's a little bit harder to patch, and it takes some getting used to because the ceiling to the walls to everything has like a texture to it.
Wow, wow, that's interesting. So,
Yeah, and they do that for speed. They do it for because there's no real great drywallers here, and it's just
really?
drywall's not a thing. Yeah, like true
Huh.
drywall, smooth drywall is not a thing.
Right. Okay, because I'm thinking like, are they just painting over the brick? Like literally, are they doing that? But okay, okay, I get you. Like some
No,
type of
it's a
replica.
spray. It's a
I got
spray.
you.
This one's got a different texture than the ceiling, but the ceiling is called a knockdown. So they actually put something over it and I run a trowel over it, and it kind of gives it a different look, like a
Mm.
flattened stucco look.
Right. Oh
So it's kind of
wow.
wild. It takes
It
some getting
makes
used to at
sense
first.
though.
Yeah,
Yeah.
at first I didn't
Huh.
like it, but now I'm just so used to it and I like it. So it's
Yeah.
good.
Yeah. Yeah. It serves its purpose. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
So that's the good thing about it. Florida, beautiful place. I've been there a few times. Weather is great. We hear a lot of crazy things about Florida, but one thing you hear about Florida is that it's a retirement state.
Mm.
So let's speak on this retirement state. Like, who are the majority of your clients? Is it in the retirement age, or what is your majority of clients in that state?
Okay, so that's a great question. There is some retirement aspects still. You can't take that away, right? A lot of
Gotcha.
people have in their scope to move to Florida when they retire. That is
Hmm.
just not going to change. However, that was in 19. There was heavy retirement, right? Everybody knew of it being a retirement state. But COVID happened,
Right.
dare I say it. So everybody started flocking to Florida, and it's become a work and play state.
Ah, yeah. I'm
So
getting the
people are here to
connection now.
work, people are here
Hmm.
working and playing. So it's a different vibe, and it really depends
Right.
on where you go. If you went to like over on Vero Beach is still very heavy retirement. Like I wouldn't
Hmm.
fit in there. I'm gonna go over there and I'm gonna like, hey guys, you want to play bridge, right? Like I wouldn't fit in over there. But over here, it's such a younger vibe, and there's some retirements and some retirees and some snowbirds, but
Hmm.
it's a work and play state. So a lot of professionals, a lot of business professionals, a lot of money's moving in the area, and the schools are getting better and bigger because of it.
Oh, wow. It's an
It's
interesting
pretty wild.
connection right there. Is it still safe to say like is it a significant portion of your clients are at the retirement age, or is it like half and half between like that that play culture, or what I should say the
I'd
people that
say
just come.
none of them so far.
Oh,
None of the
really?
clients I've had so far. If anything, I've sold a couple properties for retiree type age, right?
Gotcha.
I've sold some of their properties. So one client recently, they sold their Airbnb. We
Mm-hmm.
sold it for them, their Airbnb, because they were just done with it. Like, we're just done. We're gonna sell it. Another
Right.
lady is 95 years old, and she sold her condo on Sarasota Bay. Okay, so again, she was just done. She's like, I don't have a use for this condo anymore. So that was actually opposite. She was a retiree here, and now
Right.
she's in Michigan of all places, and she's not coming back.
Oh. Oh. Okay. Okay. Different
Well,
situations for different people,
yeah,
so I get
yeah,
that. Right. Okay.
yeah. But my phone's not ringing off the hook with retirees, right? They're not saying, "Hey, I'm retiring in a month. I need to go to Florida." They're
Right. Right.
not. They're
That's
not.
I don't know. That's just what I would think. Like, man, I'm just trying to
Yeah,
retire. Can I get a spot?
it's a great question. It's a
Yeah.
great
Yeah.
question.
Okay. So you deal with a lot of different clients. Let's say you're dealing with a client that may be consistently getting outbid on homes that they are finding that they're starting to love. Like, how do you keep the relationship positive? How do you keep them looking, forward into continuously looking for a home after they keep getting outbidded?
Wow, these are deep. These are good questions. You've been doing this for a while.
I'm trying.
All right. Excuse me. All right. So, um, to answer that question, there's a lot of different ways to answer that question. But how
Mm-hmm.
we do it is, first, you have to set the proper expectations. So you
Mm-hmm.
also have to have a pulse of the market. You have to know, we check the market every single day. So we know what's happening every single day in the counties that we work,
Right.
both in Michigan and here in Florida. So we know if things are coming on, if there's more pendings than incoming listings. So we know the month's supply, and we know if it's a buyer's market or a seller's market. First, you
Okay.
need to know that.
Right.
Second, depending on the property, you have to set proper expectations. So one of the things that I say commonly, or all the time, is I always say, in a depending on the situation, you have to make sure you put your best foot forward, period.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And if you can wake up in the morning and know that you put your best foot forward and you lost it by $1, then you're okay with it.
I understand.
Okay. If you really want the property and you lose it by $1 and you wake up in the morning, you're not going to kick yourself saying, I should have made it $1 more. Okay.
Right.
And too often people were like, I love the property. It's everything I ever wanted. But then you try to come in a little lower, and somebody comes in and they swoop in and they take it from you. And then
Mm.
you know, you wanted to play the game, you want to play with fire, you're going to get burned. So you have
Yep.
to set the
Yep.
expectations. This is what we're trying to
Mm-hmm.
do. We're trying to accomplish this. If this is just okay property and you're just kind of settling and it's just going to be for a couple of years and you're okay to lose it, I'm okay to write the offer if you're okay to
Right.
lose it. But I try to guide them. And then there's never any guessing game. But at the end of it, there's some things that are just out of our control. And when we get to the end and we lose, say we lost out on an offer, it wasn't meant to be.
Mm.
Whether it was
Love that, Brett.
their
Love that
doing,
perspective.
yeah, whether it was their doing or our doing or somebody else's doing, it
Right.
wasn't meant to be.
Yeah.
And so at that point, then everybody's okay and everybody can keep going. It's not that big of a deal. There's no
Yeah.
heartbreak. And then we
Yeah.
just keep narrowing it down and finding what's going to best fit them.
And trying to take that emotional attachment out of it too. Like, just try not to get too emotionally attached to like stuff that, especially that you haven't even like really like hammered down and confirmed yet. Like, you're just coming in and seeing a showing and you're, oh, I love this so much. Like that could be,
Well, there's a couple
cause
of things,
for
other things.
disappointment.
There's a couple other things that I tell them. Do not. You don't have this home. Do not get emotionally attached.
Mm-hmm.
And on the
Mm-hmm.
way
Mm-hmm.
in, by all means, on the way in the door, don't talk in front of the ring. And think that every house is going to have cameras and audio.
Ah.
Don't show your emotions don't be too excited. Like, don't be the wife in the furniture store, right?
Mm.
Always scale back a little bit.
Yeah.
So we
Yeah.
have some leverage if indeed they do want it.
That's a great point. I don't think that gets said enough too. I think that might be the first time. So that I'm glad you said that. It's a great point. I want to talk about a chief economist. help me if I'm saying his name wrong. Mike Frantanoni. Excuse
Sounds
me.
right.
He said a quote in I believe a podcast episode that you were on. He says, as we enter the beginning of the spring buying season, lower mortgage rates and more homes on the market will help affordability for first-time home buyers. Now, interest rates are obviously one of those key factors in helping people, making people's decision in buying and whatnot. As a top producing, top agent, do you feel like fluctuating interest rates really have an effect on your productivity?
100% yes.
Oh, okay.
100% yes. It's more so not my productivity. I guess no on my productivity, but yes on the market. Okay.
Okay.
So
Right.
we're
I
always
understand.
going to find ways. We're always going to find ways to stay busy, and we're always going to find ways to generate business. So there is really no bad market to me in real estate. Period. There's
Right.
transactions that happen every single day,
Mm-hmm.
and you can either listen to the media and sit back and crawl under a rock, or you can actually go get it. Okay. And so realtors not only crawl under a rock, but so do the buyers and the sellers, because the media will influence the market in a big way, because you will see buyers slow down when everybody's talking about high interest rates.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
You will see interest rates lower a hair, and then everybody comes out of the woodwork again, because the media said, hey, interest rates drop a half a point. But actually, they don't say that as often as they do the negative. So our job is to bring it to people and let them know, hey, interest rates are coming down. And then we hope they tell their friends, because the media is only speaking of the bad news. Okay.
Right.
And so the media drastically impacts the market, which is fine. But when the interest rates start coming down, it's our job as realtors to impact the market by letting people know, hey, things are adjusting. Let's start looking at the overall payment, because there's a lot of things that aren't explained to these clients.
Right.
If I buy a house let's go to Detroit area. Okay. If I buy a
Mm-hmm.
house in Clarkston and I buy a house in Lapeer, okay, the interest rates don't matter as much. Say everything's the same. The taxes in Clarkston are going to be much higher than the taxes in Lapeer.
Mm-hmm.
That's going to make a $200 swing in your payment.
There you go.
Let's just say that's a good example. A $200 swing in your payment is more money than it would have been if you would have had a 3% interest rate.
Correct.
So we gotta look at every situation differently, really carve it out, and understand what the actual buyer's needs are. And if they're at a certain level with payment, let's go that way. Let's start looking at tax bases. Let's look at interest rates. Let's look at the entire picture instead of just listening to the media and crawling under a rock.
Why do you feel like the media paints pictures like that for consumers? Why is that? Is it a scare tactic? Do you think they're really trying to fluctuate the market in certain type of ways for certain reasons, or what would be your opinion?
You're a smart guy, Kevin.
So what's understood doesn't need to be explained.
There's nothing the media says. Nothing the media says that has any real value.
Yeah.
Because the media is there to bring bad news, because the media is going to get the ratings, and people are driven off of negativity.
Yeah.
And that's a shame, but people are driven off negativity. They'll open up a YouTube video that says 10 reasons why you shouldn't move to Tampa quicker than they'll open up a video that says 10 reasons why you shouldn't move to Tampa.
That's a great point.
And it's proven.
I know people that would share posts like that. Like, I don't want to read that. Why?
You know, Elon Musk, right, with Tesla. Tesla is just a fantastic machine. But the second autopilot's on and it takes out somebody or hits a car.
Oh, it's all over the news. It's the worst thing.
One car, one thing, right?
Yeah,
people get in accidents all the time.
I know where you're going.
Steering wheel, yeah. It's just they take that one thing and they're like, okay, we're going to poke holes in this. So, that's just what we're dealing with. It is. It's just what we're dealing with. It's how do you keep positive without being overly positive, so it looks like you're just sugarcoating something. You got to be truthful with your people and your clients, and you got to let them know, hey, this is the reality of the situation, and you got to tell them the good and bad. but it's not
Correct.
only bad. There's always ways
Yeah.
around it.
Got to make those mental adjustments. You got to be prepared for the information that you will receive and how you plan on consuming it and reacting from there. Let's go into adjustments as a matter of fact. Can you explain or talk about a time where you had to make adjustments to your specific sales strategy to basically please or satisfy a client's specific needs or desires?
Adjustments to my sales strategy to satisfy a client's needs or desires. Sure. Let's go with listing. We're a pretty heavy listing side when we were in Michigan, and we've tended to be about 50-50 here because people obviously want to move to Florida, so we're going to have some buyers, right?
Mm-hmm.
Not as many sellers. So working with a client, things change with clients. So if you communicate with your clients on a weekly basis, like we do, you're going to find that some clients' urgency changes drastically from week to week. So one week
Yes.
they're going to be like, yeah, we'll sell it when we sell it. But then the next week, the media comes out with a higher interest rate. They get panicked that they're never going to sell their house. We got to change on a dime. Our marketing is always going to be the same, but we have to change on a dime, and we have to figure out different creative ways to drive more traffic or to pull the tax base or to show people it's not that bad or to
Right.
make a different type of video. There's a lot of ways to do it. But our strategy will change week to week depending on the client and depending on their urgency.
It makes sense. It shouldn't be a one size fits all type of sales strategy anyway. So that's a great response. I kind of feel like that was a curveball, but I think you handled that
Yeah.
right. Yeah, yeah.
Well, it is.
Well,
It was a curveball, but every client is so different. Just like again, I told you I have 5 kids. Every single one of my kids is so
oh
different.
yeah. Oh, so
You got to
you
handle.
know.
You got to handle them each. And it's like dealing with kids, and that doesn't sound right, but you have
I
to
get it.
understand. You have to listen more than you talk, and you
Mm,
have to understand what they need and what their
mm,
goals are. Too many of us are like, "Oh yeah, let's get a listing. Let's go." Right? Instead of listening to what they need.
right,
Like, what are their goals? And when you
right.
turn this business from I'm going to sell a home, I want to sell a home, I want to sell a home, I want to sell a home, to I want to help people, 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 it changes the whole game.
Yeah, yeah. No, I agree with that too. He definitely just can't be out there just trying to sell homes and make money. It's only gonna get you so far. That's
They
what I
will they
believe.
will smell your commission breath from across the table.
Oh, the commission breath, though. I love that. I might have to use that. That's
They
hilarious.
will. Hmm.
Market trends. What are the current market trends? How would you describe the market trends in your market now?
Both Michigan and in Florida, we're seeing a ramp up. So again, people start feeling that the interest rates are leveling out or coming down a little bit. There are
Mm-hmm.
some more homes to choose from compared to last year. So there's a little bit more inventory. There's not a ton, but there is a little bit more inventory. So the market trends right now, there's a lot of movement. Um, if you look up a website called Make Me Move, not Make Me
Okay.
Move, not How Money Walks. Sorry, How Money
How many
Walks.
walks? Okay.
If you look up How Money Walks, you're going to see all the movement. And so a lot of people are leaving certain states and
Mm-hmm.
going into other states. So we're watching
Mm-hmm.
that carefully because we're in a desirable state right now.
True.
And so there's a lot of people coming here. So we need to see what's happening. And a lot of it is regarding politics. We try not to get into politics because that's just, recipe for disaster sometimes. But politics is driving a lot of it, um, along with COVID,
True.
which is politics.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah. And the way Florida handled it, yeah, it definitely, like you said before, made it a more desirable state. I mean, along with the weather and things of that nature, obviously. You
Well,
you mentioned. Oh,
sorry,
go
go
ahead,
ahead.
please. No, please.
March of 2020, I'm sitting in my basement in Michigan. We get locked down. I lose a cash deal, $1 million cash deal. I lose a
Ooh.
cash deal because the guy coming from Colorado decided not to move to Michigan because he didn't like our governor. Okay.
Oh, oh,
It's the same moment that
politics getting in
happened.
the way.
At the same moment that happened. Okay. because she shut us down. We're
Mm-hmm.
sitting there not knowing what to do in Michigan in the freezing cold. I
Mm-hmm.
call my buddy Vince up. He's in Orlando. Call my buddy Vince, and I'm like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "Oh, nothing. What are you doing?" He just it's a typical day. And I said, "What are you doing this weekend?" He goes, because of this COVID thing, we're probably going to hang out at the house this weekend. I'm going to have a couple of our friends over, but we're going to lay out by the
Right.
pool and have a backyard get together in the pool."
Just sounded so normal, didn't it?
Well, he also had a pool. Listen, he was outside. He had a pool.
Yep.
He was in the sun, and
Yep.
I'm in my basement, right?
Doing Zoom calls.
I did tons of Zoom calls. That was kind of fun. But that's the difference. That's what people started looking.
Yeah. Yeah, that's 100% true. You mentioned the fact that you do study the market, you study the trends and stuff like that. So how do you stay ahead of your competition in regards to consuming real estate information and then going ahead and executing those plans and ideas?
So consuming real estate information. Most agents won't check the MLS every single day, right?
Okay.
Most agents, it's just what it is, right? They'll check it when they need to. We check it on a daily basis, and we pull some stats off of it. Because if I'm able to write down the stats for Hillsborough County, what's pending, what came active, what went off the market, and I'm able to see the newest things that came on and see all the numbers, see what way it's leaning.
Mm-hmm.
And then I pull all of Tampa and I pull my neighborhood actually, right? And then my agents in Michigan do the same thing. So they're able to they're able to know. So when I get in a conversation with you, Kevin, we're at the coffee shop, you're going to ask me, how's the market? And I'm going to be able to say, well, in Clarkston today, we had, believe it or not, 7 homes came on the market in the last week, and 15 went pending. Oh my gosh, things are still selling? How are they selling? The interest rates are so bad. What's bad, right? What's considered bad? So it gives you
Exactly.
that knowledge to. So I think really staying on top of what's happening with the numbers helps us. As far as executing, everybody has a database, but none of us use it properly, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if you use your database properly and you do offer a service and you let people know what's happening in the market, they're going to look at you as a knowledge broker and a service provider more so than a salesperson. So I would say stay in touch with your people, stay in touch with your friends, your family, your past clients, everybody in your sphere, connect with business owners, do everything you can to make sure people understand what's really happening in the market. So when they run into that next agent, they don't have to ask.
Correct.
That's what I
Well
think.
said. Well said. You also have a podcast of your own, Thom. Top Agent Podcast. Are you still doing it now? Still hosting?
Yes and no. So we talked about this morning, as a matter of fact. Excuse me. The goal was to really go in at a full launch after the first of the year.
Okay.
Well, I got sick with this cough that you hear, and the cough is dragging on and on and on and on, especially because I talk so much. So we're trying to get it going again. We like, just like you have here, we like the video aspect of it, and we also
Mm-hmm.
like pulling the audio and doing something with the audio. So
Correct.
we like that, and we want to talk. Our goal is to talk to top agents across the country, just like you are right now, understanding
Correct.
what they do, how they do it, and also building a referral network. Because Kevin, if you were a licensed agent in Michigan, or let's just say in Ohio or wherever it might be, um, again, I know you're in Michigan, but if you were somewhere else, because I have a team
Mm-hmm.
in Michigan, right, and I needed somebody to help them in Virginia, I'd call you up and say, Kevin, hey, we talked on the podcast. You're a great dude. Can you help these people? Right. So
True.
if we can build those relationships across the country and get best practices and then turn around and give that to other agents, that's what our goal is.
Right. And that sounds like that's essentially how you're building value from your podcast as a realtor, by basically building a network of people that you have come onto your platform. Same thing
Right.
here. Exact same
Yeah.
thing here. Yeah.
Exact same
All
thing.
right.
And if you get, and you said the key word, value, no matter what it is, if it's clients, your coworkers, your agents, and you said something earlier, you said competitors.
Mm.
I really do believe every agent's an ally and every agent's, we're all on the same team.
Come on. I like
We're
that.
all on the same team.
Expound.
So there could be an agent 2 doors down. They're not a competitor because the better you build those relationships with other agents, even local agents, you're going to find that when I go to present an offer on one of their listings, and so did 5 other people,
Mm-hmm.
and they have a relationship with me, as long as I did my offer right and say a lot of things are pretty even, they're going to choose my client. They're going to know me. They're going to know I'm good. They're going to know we get to the closing table.
Right.
We have a relationship. So agent relationships matter, and I really don't look at anybody as competitors.
That is a new perspective right there. Gotta respect that. I love that. And I love that you even have to go back to correct that, to say that, yeah, I don't even see them as competitors. We're allied. You got to look at stuff different like that, man, because when you look at people as competitors, you look at them as people that you can't necessarily reach out to, talk to, get information from, and it doesn't necessarily have to be that way. Like, there's probably enough opportunity for everyone to succeed if you're doing your own thing the right way. You see what I'm saying? So I love that
Well,
you spoke on that.
I have no problem. We're going to do this too. We're going to do like top agent, like small seminars here. And
Mm-hmm.
I was with a bunch of agents this morning at a network event, and everybody in the room, the speaker from Rate My Agent was there, and he talked about reviews.
Mm-hmm.
He said a couple of software things like high note and a couple things that I caught on to, but I realized nobody in the room did. It was like he was talking over their head.
Right.
I have no problem coming out with local value seminars and bringing any agent from any broker. And here's what's going to happen. You'll get 10, 20 agents in there. You'll build relationships. They're going to go back, and 10% of them will execute. The other 90%, by the time they hit the door, they'll forget what you said.
Yep. Sound about right.
So the goal is to build those relationships regardless, not care if they execute or not, and just be like, I'm here for you. I'm not a competitor, I'm an ally. So out of those, 20 agents or 30 agents that were at that little seminar, now when I go to list a home and they bring a buyer, or they list a home and I bring a buyer, they're going to remember me.
There you go.
That's it. It's abundance, dude. There's so much opportunity everywhere in the world. And
yeah, you got to be
where
creative, man.
It doesn't really matter. Doesn't really matter.
Cool, Thom, man. Thank you, man.
Yeah.
I appreciate you. Dropped some real good gems today, man. We appreciate that. You got to do me a favor before we get out of here. Give a last word or tell people how they can reach out to you if they're interested.
Sure. Really Google me, right? Thom Tillier, ThomTillier. You can Google me. You can find me really anywhere. I do have a link tree, but anywhere. Find me on Facebook. Find me on Instagram. Find me on LinkedIn. Whatever you want to do, I'm accessible. Find us on YouTube. Wherever you need to find us, find us. If you need questions, or if you have a referral in Florida, I have a lot of positive reviews regarding referrals from other agents. So if you need anything, let us know.
Talk to Thom. He's your man. Thank you again, Thom. We appreciate you for joining us here at the closing table. For my YouTube watchers, yes, if you gotten this far, I need you to do me a favor. Please hit the like button, hit the share button, also hit the subscribe button. And if you're listening on Apple, Spotify, any other podcast platforms, please do the same. Like, subscribe, 5-star rating, and also, like we said, share so you can get caught up with the latest content here at the closing table. And let's leave you with this question, audience. How do you get your information in regards to real estate? Is it an actual realtor? Are you doing online research, newspaper? Leave your comments below. Other than that, we'll see you next week.